Hey kids, so glad to be back with you. We have had snow, we have had Christmas, you've gone back to school. There's been a lot of things going on, but we wanted to talk about what Kendall spoke about on Sunday with you. And if you're in a community group, hopefully you got a community group box and you can watch this video to see how to do the experiment. There's also games and activities in there that you can do to talk about what we learned. So Pastor Kendall was talking about being a Christian and what that looks like. And there are a lot of people in our world that are saying, hey, I'm a Christian. They might profess to be a Christian, but when we look at their lives, there's nothing that looks like God. There's nothing that makes us think, yes, that glorifies God. The way they're acting, the way they're behaving, the way they're speaking looks like God. So we want to make sure that that is what our lives look like. If we have a relationship with Him and He has changed our life and we know that He is the one true God, we want to worship Him. We want to honor Him with the way we live and the way we speak. So our experiment today has a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need some buttons. These are just colored plastic buttons. The heavier the button, actually the better. You're going to need a dark colored soda. So I just used a Coca-Cola that was at the church's refrigerator we had left over. So you can grab maybe a soda from your home or from the store. And then you're going to need a clear jar. Or actually it could be just a clear glass. Anything that's clear that you can see. So in this experiment, what we're doing is we're talking about the things that are hidden in our lives. For example, when maybe you lie to your parents and they don't actually know. Like it's a hidden sin nobody knows about. Maybe you went online and you looked at something on the computer that you knew did not honor the Lord. Maybe you took a test and you cheated on your test and nobody knows. It's hidden. In Proverbs 28:13, the Bible says that people that hide things that are sin, they don't prosper. What happens is that sin can become worse and worse and worse. We begin to not just hide the thing that we did, but also we have to kind of lie to hide it again. And so we find that the sin continues to grow and our lives are not full of joy. We're not prospering. We're not looking like the believer and the Christian that the Lord wants us to look like. He wants other people to see us and know that we're believers. And when we have sin that we've hidden, we realize we're not going to prosper. We're not going to look more and more like Him. But what's cool about that verse is in Proverbs 28, it goes on to say, but if you confess and you turn from your sin, there is mercy. See, that's an encouraging thing for us, that we know we're going to sin. And if we keep it hidden and we keep it out of sight of all people and never confess it, then it will grow. It will create this ugly thing in our lives. But if we confess it and we turn from it, there is mercy for us. The Lord is excited to forgive us and to give us all of the things that we were missing out on. So in our experiment today, what you're going to do is you're going to take your jar or your glass and you're going to take your soda and you're going to pour the soda in the glass. So you just want to fill it up to about halfway full or a little more. It doesn't have to go all the way to the top. So after you do that, then you're going to grab your buttons. And before you throw a button in the jar, you're going to think of one thing that could be something that is hidden, and maybe in your life or that you've seen in other people's lives. So I mentioned some, like maybe you looked at something on the computer that you know you weren't supposed to. So you would kind of name what that is, the sin, and then you would drop it into the jar. As they go in, you'll hear them kind of push down into the soda, and they will go all the way to the bottom of this jar. And so what looks like our sin is that it's dark. You can't see the sins. They're hidden, and nobody even knows about them. But God knows about them. See, what happens is after a few minutes, you will begin to see those buttons rise to the top. See, even the things that we think are hidden, that are not affecting us, that we don't have to let other people know about, actually, the Lord knows all about them. He already knows. He already sees them. And when they begin to rise to the top, we have an opportunity to confess them. And what's cool is that He has taken all of those buttons out of our yucky sin, and He has said, I forgive them. I've paid for them on the cross. You don't have to live in a life that is not prosperous. So it's an encouraging word for us today that when we look around our world, we hear people and we see people that are saying and professing Christian, that they're a Christian, but actually in their lives we're not seeing it. So it encourages us to think, are there things in our lives that are maybe hidden? They're sins, or they're things that we know do not honor the Lord, that we've hidden from other people, but that we need to confess, because God is quick to forgive us. And then what we find is when we do confess those things and we have turned from those things, He provides mercy for us, and other people begin to look at our lives and see something different. They begin to recognize Christ in us. And that's what we want, right? We want people to see us, but really in us, we want them to see Jesus. So try this exercise at home. Drop your buttons in and make sure to see if they float to the top. Hopefully you'll have a great time with your activities in your community group this week. Okay, see you next time.